Sunday morning. It also happens to be the 1st of January. We've got Chris Skinner on between 9 and 10, so we're doing our fortnightly meditation a little earlier than usual, and I'm delighted to say that Maitrisingha from the Norwich Buddhist Centre joins us in the studio. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning, Matthew. Happy New Year to you and all the listeners.
Lovely to have you along, and it's become a bit of a thing, isn't it? Our fortnightly meetings and the meditations. Do you get any feedback about this?
Well, mostly through you, but we do get some people coming to the centre through this programme, actually, just exploring meditation, and I've heard some. I've got some good feedback from other people. I've got a plumber friend who's also an experienced Buddhist, and many of his clients listen to the programme. So,
well, of course, it goes without saying, doesn't it? Actually, when you see a plumber's bill, you need a lie down, don't you? Really, as far as a meditation is concerned. But the point is that this world seems to be whirling around, and there seems to be ever more things to get worried about. Do you think we've ever needed meditation like we do now?
I think there's a great need for it in the world, and I think it's a great antidote to that whirl, because there's not just the external whirl of the world, there's the inner whirl of our monkey minds. You know, if you try to sit still for 5 minutes, as most people have probably realised, the mind just spins, doesn't it? The monkey mind, it loves to spin. So if we can get a bit of if we can get into that and learn to tame that mind, there's so much potential in the mind. If you look at what we normally spin out in our heads, it doesn't really go anywhere and often tends towards the negative. But if we can train our minds, which essentially is what meditation is all about, taming that monkey mind, we can tap into something much more creative and much more beautiful, actually.
We all have moments of anxiety, some people more than others, but it's getting out of that loop of worry, isn't it? And particularly lying in bed at night, and you have a particular thing you're worried about, and it just goes round and round in your head. But what can you do lying in bed, you know?
What can you do? Well, actually, many things. One thing, the breath. Okay, the breath is our constant companion. So long as we're alive, it's available to us. We can use that as we do on our regular meditations. Another thing, sometimes people think we have to stop our thoughts. Well, that's very difficult. Forget that idea, but change your thoughts. Direct them into something more creative. Ask yourself, how can I more creatively think about this? Or maybe change the subject, change the channel in your mind. Don't try to stop thoughts. That's a very hard task. Even the most experienced Buddhists don't try to stop their thoughts. It's much more that they don't believe them. They see them as clouds in the sky. So see your thoughts, especially the worried ones, like clouds passing through a beautiful blue sky.
How difficult, though, is it to train your mind like that? I mean, it takes a lot of... We talked about giving up drink earlier on, just before the news, and we talked about willpower. This is a different sort of willpower, but just the same, it takes a little bit of determination, I think, doesn't it?
Really good question. Well, I think the most important thing is to find inspiration to do it. And for me, it's, what are the consequences if I don't? Do I want to live a life where my mind is spinning away, doing its own thing, and getting me into trouble? So that inspires me. And another thing is just being in contact with people that are inspired, that are wise. Really important. And that, life is short, and we want to make the most of it, don't we? So be inspired, read inspiring books. Don't watch the news all the time. Listen to things that are inspiring, and speak with people who inspire you, and that will give you the desire to be more creative in your life, and more creative in your thinking and what you do with your mind.
We are quite social creatures, aren't we? I mean, the human race, we reach out to others, and we want to take part in sort of social interaction. Do you worry that maybe meditation is a bit too internal?
Well, we're going to do a special meditation today, which is a loving kindness meditation. It is, but we go inwards so that when we come outwards, we have more to give the world. We have more resources. If our mind is calmer and kinder and brighter, and we can tap into a more creative approach to things, then, when we step back into the world, we can offer that to the world.
Well, Maitrisingha is with us from the Norwich Buddhist Centre, and we'll have our Sunday morning meditation in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll talk about other things before then, but the meditation itself, which a lot of people like to take part in, will be at around about 10 to 9. In the meantime, though, I mean, the Buddhist Centre, for people who haven't heard of the Norwich Buddhist Centre, these days you're based, aren't you, around the back of the old Royal Hotel in Bank Street in Norwich, and quite busy with activities and things going on, aren't you?
Yes, and things are picking up since the pandemic, because everything was online rather, and now it's offline, if you like. It's in person. We've still got some events that are online if people can't make it physically to the centre, but it's such a lovely, beautiful old Tudor building, well worth visiting just for the wooden beams. But it's got such a lovely atmosphere, and it is an oasis in the city. And of course, we're not going to try and make you Buddhist if you come along. We're enthusiastic about Buddhism, but most people probably just come to the Buddhist Centre for our meditation teaching.
Which almost, I mean, these days there's a form of meditation that's prescribed by doctors, isn't there? Mindfulness, they call that.
That's right. And we've had quite a few people come to our centre. I say, "Oh, what brings you here?" So, "Oh, my GP suggested coming." So that's interesting.
It's part of the NHS now. So what have we got coming up then at the centre?
We've got, two things that I think might be of interest to listeners. One is this coming Saturday. We've got an introductory meditation morning, just from 10 till 12. More than welcome to just turn up to that. All information online. And a bigger thing is we've got a 6-week meditation course. We're calling it Change Your Mind, Change the World. Maybe that taps into the theme you were talking about, Matthew. And that starts on Wednesday evening, January the 18th. That's 6 to 9 p.m. And that's with my one of my teachers is leading that, very inspiring man called Sujana. So if you're at all interested in meditation, why not give it a go?
So there's a couple of dates for your diary, and 14 Bank Street is the address of the Norwich Buddhist Centre, right in the city centre. So lots of buses go up and down Tombland and on Bank Plain around there. So no excuse not to go, you see. So no excuse. And how long have you been a Buddhist then?
I've been since 2001. So what's that, 20?
As old as the century, really, isn't it?
Yes. So, yeah, and I don't regret going through those blue doors one bit. Actually, I think there were blue doors, and it used to be on
All Saints Green.
All Saints Green, didn't. So that's where I
only know that because it was around the back of the old Radio Norfolk. That's where we used to be as well.
No, that's right. Yeah. No, I do not regret learning to meditate. I think it's one of the greatest gifts I've given myself. I'm not exaggerating to say it's profoundly changed my life.
We'll come back for this morning's meditation shortly, but in the meantime, Maitrisingha from the Norwich Buddhist Centre, thank you for the moment. It's 20 minutes. 9 minutes to 9 is the time on BBC Radio Norfolk. We've got the news coming up shortly. First, though, as promised, it's back to Maitrisingha from the Norwich Buddhist Centre and the first meditation of a new year. Maitrisingha.
Thanks, Matthew. New Year is a good time to look back at the previous year and, of course, to look forward to the coming year. So we're going to do a special loving-kindness meditation today for ourselves and for others in our lives. As I always say, if you're driving, perhaps best just focus on the road. But everyone else, I invite to close your eyes. And as usual, let's start the meditation with a couple of nice, slow, long, deep breaths. Really fill your lungs right up and slowly, empty them out again. Then let the breath breathe its own natural rhythm. We're not controlling the breath, just enjoying the simplicity of the breath as it gently comes and gently goes. And on each out-breath, we can relax different areas of the body. So let's start by relaxing the face, the forehead, the mouth and the jaw. And using the out-breath to relax those shoulders, the arms and the hands. With each out-breath, just inviting the belly to relax and the back to relax. And now down to the pelvis, the legs and the feet. So now just sitting quietly in your seat and letting the breath come and go. And bring to mind the last year, 2022. You don't have to go into detail. Just reflect broadly and gently that you've done so many things over the course of the year and experienced so much. Ups and downs, joys and sorrows, perhaps even private difficulties that few people or nobody knows about. And without judging any of this, just with a kind and tender heart, look back at a year in your life, appreciating your own efforts and appreciating just the simple fact that you've lived another year. And you can also do the same for other people in your life, friends and family, people you know, people you barely know. Each of them, like you, have had ups and downs, joys and sorrows, and perhaps even private struggles that you don't know of. So again, without judgment, just with a kind and tender heart, reflect that all these people have lived a whole year of many different experiences. And a good way to connect with people is you can reflect that just as you are breathing right now, they too are breathing, wherever they are, having their own experience and beginning a new year. So let's now look forward to the coming year. Firstly, just acknowledge perhaps how you feel about the coming year. Possibly you're worried about it. Yeah, just gently and honestly acknowledging that. But perhaps there are possibilities in your life and opportunities too. And again, with a kind and tender heart, you can wish yourself well. Wish yourself well with whatever comes your way. May you enjoy the pleasures of life. May you find creative ways to deal with any difficulties, courage, humour, and patience when needed. And may you walk lightly on this earth, making the most of your opportunities. So let's now broaden that well-wishing to include all the people in your life. Friends, family, work colleagues, even people, if you can, who you find difficult or who find you difficult. And with a kind and tender heart, as all of these people start the new year, in your own way, wish them the best. May they enjoy the pleasures of life. May they find creative ways to deal with difficulties, courage, humour, and patience when needed. And may they walk lightly on this earth and shine brightly and at their very best. And we can do more than that. We can wish the same for everyone listening to this programme. And everyone in Norwich and across Norfolk. And why stop there? There are many beings in this world with their own joys and sorrows. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. And may all beings grow and progress. Matthew.
Maitrisingha, thank you. And once again, Happy New Year. We'll look forward to our next meditation, which will be in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, Matthew.
Splendid. You're listening to BBC Radio Norfolk, and this is Matthew Gudgin with Sunday Breakfast, shortly to be joined by Chris Skinner from High Ash Farm.